the board, but the other players, they are ready to go. It is time to get the first moves in. Where is Hikaru?
It's a mystery. Where is Hikaru Nakamura? And here we see the arbiter, Judith, there saying, Dennis, you should start the clock. The games have commenced. Hikaru is late.
It's the first time all event we've seen someone late to the round, so I have no idea where he is, but I'm sure there's a good reason.
Oh my gosh, I haven't seen that happen before, and it's a rapid game. It's 15 minutes with 3-second increment. Pawn. He can give up both the A and the D pawn as the Black King marches towards white pawns. Hikaru Nakamura, there's nothing to be done. He is trying. He gets the rook in. He wants to try and threaten a check on G7. But even if you grab the 8-7 pawn, it's not going to be enough. Nodirbek doesn't even allow that. The rooks are going to be traded because the G4 pawn is hanging. This is a draw coming up. And the final hope for Hikaru goes away with that G4 pawn falling off the board.
Yeah, not much more to be said. Nodirbek's defended perfectly. He's guided this game safely towards a draw. Yeah, this one is pretty much over. Flagging is the only way. But look at the time. He still has 2.5 minutes, Abdusattorov. We've just passed move 60. Zero chance. We'll see king versus king. Nakamura is out.
Nodirbek Abdusattorov, he does it. He goes through to the semi-finals in the Armageddon, taking down world number 3, Hikaru Nakamura.
Question, and so it's time for you to choose your opponent, Fabiano Caruana or Nodirbek Abdusattorov. Who are you playing?
I pick Magnus.
Oh, you're picking Magnus?
Picking Magnus. You see that?
No, I'm just kidding.
Can you do that? Can you do that?
I'm just kidding.
Check the rules. Can Wesley pick Magnus? Can Wesley pick Magnus? If he can, let's make it happen. No.
No, okay.
Do you see the other game has finished here as well? So you will play Nodirbek. Yeah. Oh, he's leaving. Well, it's going to be Nodirbek against Hikaru Nakamura to survive in the tournament. Back to you guys.
I'd actually forgotten that the knight was on Pries. It was up for grabs due to this pin, but as you mentioned, it just loses control over too many squares. A check, and now if you do try and step into the corner...
Take the other one.
Yeah, boom, another check. Strip the Black King of its shelter, and a ladder checkmate here, the queen and rook trapping the king. So Nakamura, he's trying to hold this pawn with his rook, now maybe hinting that he's threatening to take this knight.
A big blunder by Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. What happened?
Vachier-Lagrave, whoa.
He's going in for the attack, but...
He's walked into checkmate. Black can play rook takes pawn.
Oh!
Check. Oh my God, he misses it! Oh. Maxime misses it. Hikaru misses it.
It's very hard to see that when you don't have the evaluation bar. Nobody is looking at that move. The queen was just protecting that pawn, but rook takes d3 check. If we just backtrack there, if you take back with the pawn, the queen takes the rook with check, and you're going to deliver checkmate on e2, so it was a very difficult spot. No one's tapping you on the shoulder like the eval bar is for us, but there was an opportunity there.
So easy to miss. He did miss it, but...
Now absolutely level, and a hesitancy there by Alireza. He finally decides to go to 8-6 with his king.
And that Black King is inching closer because White wants to put that rook on the g-file and trade the rooks off. Not allowed here. If that bishop, it snakes back, here it comes. If it gets to f5, that White King could be in a mating net.
Oh, there it is. Back. He's losing now. Yep. He's in the net.
He's in the net. He walked right into the net. Bishop can even...
And they know it. They know it.
It's a well-known winning position. Black's rook will come round now and deliver a killer blow. The White King has no escape squares. Any check on the h-file will be decisive. Magnus goes the long way round, and White is stuck.
Alireza, with a smile, he knows this is all over. He's gotten his king at the wrong side. There's a mate in one being threatened that you cannot fight against. Magnus Carlsen gets the job done, takes it to Armageddon. Alireza is disappointed. He had this one. A draw would have seen him through. And the other man who is very relieved with this result is Hikaru Nakamura.
You can defend for a long time.
A bit of a shaky patch in the middle of that game, but once he got a chance, he pounced on it. And I just want to highlight the one missed opportunity for Hikaru Nakamura. I think a bad psychological decision in the end, in what was a difficult position, of course, but it was here. Nodirbek, the only small mistake in the whole game, rook to f6, did allow a check, and here Nakamura, instead of pouncing and capitalizing on this opportunity, trading off the rooks in the corner and then lifting his remaining rook into the game, winning potentially this c6 pawn with a good long-term advantage, he dropped back. He repeated the position back where he came from, allowing Abdusattorov to correct his mistake. No more rook f6, no more mistaken move there. Rook to c8 instead, and it was here. Pawn to d3, really powerful, unleashing the black bishop, and then this move, queen to g3, closing the cage around the White King and ultimately securing a level position.
every single move with purpose from Nodirbek Bid. He did not give Hikaru that second chance, and for Hikaru, it was tough.
E4 is what that rook. It is taking away so many key squares, defending that G5 pawn. Black's rook struggling to create counterplay, to create threats against white's pawns. And it's the knight that jumps forward, picks up the B7 pawn. The queenside pawns are going to start marching up the board right now. This practically has to be advantage Hikaru.
Definitely an advantage for Hikaru without the queens on the board. But the good news for Denis is that the white king can't easily join the action because that G3 pawn, if that one is given up, Black still has a rook pawn to create as a passer. So here comes Denis's king into the center, but apparently that was a mistake.
Wow, the black king.
Oh, that's a blunder! He walks into a knight fork.
Oh my goodness. And Denis was defending so well, but Hikaru, he kept up the pressure.
Oh my god! And Hikaru gets the dub in. Alireza wins against Magnus. Hikaru beats Denis Lazavik. What an end to that game. And there's one more still on as Abdusattorov is fighting against Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. Opposite color, 14 moves to get that 1 second increment, but I don't think that's going to help him given the position on the board.
He's also completely lost over the board, so
6.
Magnus, way too much time. He's just trying to calculate, can I trade those queens? The answer should be yes. I think if he trades the queens, he's still in a winning position. And for Alireza, it might have been too low of a bid. 9 minutes to start the game against Magnus Carlsen. He'll be regretting that, I think, more than anything.
He really created his chances. He was so resilient in handling the attack and creating counterplay. Well, there is this F-pawn. You need to stop it from moving to F2. So Magnus going to retreat with the knight, or will he continue pushing the E-pawn? He retreats, no risk.
Yep, no risk, no reason to risk. And look at the clock. Alireza's time in this tournament is running out.
1 second, and Alireza is flagged. Magnus Carlsen gets the win. Alireza Firouzja eliminated.
What a devastating way to go. Winning game 1, but Magnus Carlsen shows why he has been the best player in the world for well over a decade.
The most exciting Armageddon bid so far in the CCT finals. You guys go ahead and turn your boards. How low will you go? 948 versus 935. Oh, that's close. Nodirbek, you will play with the black pieces. How are you feeling right now?
Yeah, I feel like I had experience playing with white, so yeah, let's try black.
And white pieces, Hikaru, are you kind of happy with the result here?
Doesn't matter. I've had so many blacks, whites. It's just Armageddon. See what happens.
So one game to decide who goes through to the semifinals. Are you promising some excitement for the fans right now?
I mean, we'll see. I've played so many games today. At this point, I'll just play moves. That's all I'm thinking about.
Awesome. Best of luck, you guys, in this Armageddon game. Back to the studio.
Can I trade those queens? The answer should be yes. I think if he trades the queens, he's still in a winning position. And for Alireza, it might have been too low of a bid. 9 minutes to start the game against Magnus Carlsen. He'll be regretting that, I think, more than anything.
He really created his chances. He was so resilient in handling the attack and creating counterplay. Well, there is this F-pawn. You need to stop it from moving to F2. So Magnus going to retreat with the knight, or will he continue pushing the E-pawn? He retreats, no risk.
Yep, no risk, no reason to risk. And look at the clock. Alireza's time in this tournament is running out.
1 second, and Alireza is flagged. Magnus Carlsen gets the win. Alireza Firouzja eliminated.
What a devastating way to go. Winning game 1, but Magnus Carlsen shows why he has been the best player in the world for well over a decade. He's just there when it counts. In those big moments, he's able to outlast his opposition. And for Alireza, he gave the #1 player all he could handle, but it was too little at the end.
A heartbreaking.
Yeah, it might be mind games. We do know great world champions of the past, including Garry Kasparov and others.
You see him.
Like to appear late, and here we see Hikaru. He does enter fashionably late. Just a couple of minutes, disappeared. He's basically playing Armageddon now.
Yes, I think we're all relieved and happy to see Hikaru is on the board and immediately sits down and makes his move. He starts with knight to F6 and blitzes out his second move as well with a head shake. What's going on? And it's hard to tell, but what do you think is happening to Hikaru right now? What's going on in his mind?
Well, he'll be trying to focus now. Hopefully we get a word from the ground out there in Toronto a bit later on about why Hikaru was delayed to the game, but a fast start. He knows his opening theory, and he did spot a couple of minutes to Denis, but not terminal, nothing too dramatic. So at least we have chess.
We do have chess, and we have a central break on the board. This is the Nimzo Indian, and Hikaru strikes with the dynamic c5. And
if you trade everything off, the white king feels slightly uncomfortable. You've got to be careful where you step. For example, the black knight could come in. This would have been deadly, for example, with a fork. Of course, he avoided all of this, Hikaru Nakamura. Let's catch up with the game. He found a far clearer way to simplify, and here we see everything being traded off. Yes, it's a bishop versus knight imbalance, but ultimately it shouldn't be enough. White can simply step back, defend everything with his rook, and unless you're pinning and winning on the second rank, which I don't think you are, this one should be a draw any moment.
And this is why the presence of pawns on both flanks would have been advantageous for black, because if you could just put a pawn for each side somewhere on the C or B files, black would be better. Bishops do well with long-range pieces. Unfortunately, not enough material remains for black to have any chances. I do think that this is a draw, and yes, it is.
it is Hikaru Nakamura. It looked like he was a man on a mission, and the mission is get to Armageddon, and it does. This one goes down to the wire, 2 draws, the players immediately.
And Nakamura forced to lose time. He's lost 2 tempi. He's gone back where he came from with that knight.
And I think he realized that perhaps he could have jumped in with the knight to the other square, forcing a better sequence of moves. Hikaru falls back with the knight, and now Maxime isn't forced to give up the bishop anymore for the pawn.
And look at that move. Bishop e5, making sure the black king cannot step forward, and the bishop still covers that passed pawn in the corner. Now the white king can slide back towards the pawn and go and win it.
He's winning, Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. He's even going in with his king. He doesn't even care about that a-pawn. The white bishop will always keep a watchful gaze over it, and white's pawns in the center are going to decide this game. Nakamura lost 3 full tempi with his knight maneuvers earlier. He's panicking. Look at the clock as well. No time to defend.
Don't play king c4 if you're Maxime. That allows knight e3 check, and you drop your central d5 pawn. You do not want to allow that to happen. So he gives a check, he pushes his pawn, but now where does the king go? Up it goes because c5 is carved out for it.
Yeah, beautiful. Nakamura here in trouble. Meanwhile, Vachier-Lagrave finding all the right moves. The corner.
Okay, Aryan. Yeah. Can you get up here and try to tackle me? You gotta wake up. No. There's a carpet here. I want you to practice for your wrestling before the next round. I don't. What you were saying during that match was very strange. I can say that.
Wait, what's
some funny moves?
Where? Yeah, I mean, my head is not working.
I know. So we're going to get. So I got something comfortable in this carpet here. I'm not wrestling you. You're going to try to wrestle me. You're going to try to take me down. How would you try to take somebody down?
Usually the way I do it is that, I mean, you're taller than me. But
so it's easier.
Yeah, but
it's actually easier.
Usually I try to do like this and try to use my weight to like...
Judo. Have you trained judo? You know judo? Try to do this.
Yeah.
And then what? So do
it's just like this and then try to get you down.
But if you're going to try to do that, then you want to incorporate a trip. Because you're getting the person off balance. You think J Bell weighs 170, 160, so...
But he's not taller than me, is it?